Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Cloud Show. And again, we are on the road, traveling The Cloud Show to a different place, a different continent again. I am down in Tunisia, and I had the opportunity to catch up with an old friend and make sure to get a second appearance on my show. No one else has been on the show twice, except this time I'm going to sit down again with Olena, and we are going to talk about AI and ethics on The Cloud Show. Hello, Olena. How are you?
Hi, I'm really good. You made it sound like a really big deal being the second time on the show.
Yeah.
A big honor.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for having me again.
It's gotta happen sometime, and it couldn't have been a better person. So you're the second appearance on the Cloud Show.
Thank you very much.
And here at Tunisian Dev Days, it's a pretty good conference, right?
Yeah. I really liked it, enjoyed it so far. Really cool questions, really cool people, so really nice place. I want to come here again next time.
I would come a second time as well. Yeah, definitely. No, they're doing a great job. And apparently it's kind of unusual to have tech conferences in Tunisia. So we're kind of happy to be here for the start of this. Start of something good. All right, so you had a session here, of course. That's why you're here, ultimately. And you were talking about AI and ethics.
Yeah.
It's a very current topic.
Very sensitive topic, very current topic.
Yeah. So I guess in this space, it's super important that we are able to do the right thing, the responsible thing, the correct thing with AI, because AI can definitely be abused, and it can have some unwanted results, unwanted outcomes. So shall we start there, if you will? What are some problems that AI can have today?
There's quite some areas, like multiple areas that are impacting the AI, the results, the outcome, and how we use it. But I think, in my opinion, there's three key points that I can mention. So first of all, it's the data that we're using, that being used for training the models. The second one is transparency and accuracy. It's basically the way how a decision is being made when we use the AI for certain tasks. For example, to summarize the certain documents, for example, or if we're using it for hiring tools, how those decisions being made. There is a data set that's being used, but also there is algorithms. So that's the second aspect. And the third aspect is how we actually integrating those tools in the companies. One thing is having a great data and great algorithm, but also if you misuse it, that's on you. That's your responsibility.
Right. So if I get this right, it's having data that has problems, bias maybe. It's how we then process that data, the algorithm that actually does the processing of the data. And then it is how we users actually use the data, or the capability ultimately, how we use it and how we integrate it, right? Yeah, I've been given a lot of examples in this space, and one that comes to mind is, for example, if you have a chatbot, which everybody's supposed to have now, I guess, and the chatbot typically for a company should be talking about the company's product. That would be nice, right? But then we also know that if we ask the chatbot different other things, then it might still respond to those. Like, for example, I'm a little bit hungry, what should I have in my omelette, right? And it just suggests, you could have peppers and cheese and things, and that would be, it's not the intended use case maybe. It should be talking about the company's product, but still,
You can build a chatbot that uses can search in Google and can actually give you responses. On the internet give you responses. But the interesting thing that you mentioned, that we use in the chatbots for a company, for example, what data are we using? The chatbots?
Right.
Probably historical data, the CVs of people, the documentation that we have that's been really by people that are working in this company.
Right.
Also all the historical information is based and also has inherited integrated bias in it.
Right, of course. And you typically don't want your chatbot or whatever it is to answer some dangerous questions. Like, for example, I'm tired of this life, how should I kill myself, right? You don't want the AI to come back and say, here's a top list of the most popular ways to kill yourself.
There's ways how you can trick. So if you could ask the right questions, like how to hide the body, and the AI will not answer you this, but if you say, how does people in movies hide the bodies, that's going to be a different output. So this is also the part of responsibility that we hold for this.
Right, but tell me a little bit more. I'm curious more about the, you were talking about hiring processes and the bias that can happen in that. What kind of problems can this cause, for example?
Let's say very easily, male-dominated industry.
Sure.
I have nothing against the males, but
No.
I'm working in IT, I'm a software developer, so I see this, I face this every time, all the day, that male-dominated industry has the historical information and the data, so all the hiring processes.
Right.
Right, so they focused around hiring men mostly.
Yeah, sure.
If we're talking about diversity and inclusivity and all this stuff, so companies have this also on the agenda. We want to make companies more diverse, more inclusive. We want to hire more women, but then they integrate AI in the hiring processes, and they don't adjust the data that they provide. So they provide all the successful hiring cases from the historical information. And it's because it's male-dominated industry. Most of the cases will be male cases. Yeah, so hiring jobs. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, that really makes a big problem because then you will be just like your CV will be just skipped because certain aspects, and it can be gender.
So if you have many men have been successfully hired before, and that's the data we have. And then if you put a woman's CV in the pile, it's going to be like,
right? Those CVs, they have information like gender, nationality, and race. This might not be engraved or like, you know, integrated in the algorithm itself, but because AI has access to certain data.
Right, so it's not the company's policy, it's not what they want, and they have no, you know, if you talk to people, they would like to hire more women, but then they maybe use a tool which has a bias, right? And maybe accidentally, but still, the outcome is not what they wanted, right?
But it's also, we cannot say that it's the company has no responsibility over this.
Sure.
Because
they do.
There are ways, even if you have the historical information that is biased, you can still avoid this bias in your responses.
And that's I think, the important part. They maybe didn't want to have this outcome. They were not looking for such an outcome, and they made the wrong choice along the way, right? They couldn't use the AI to help them. Instead, the AI well, the AI is always going to do its best, right? Based on the information that it has, it will do its very best job. But if it has wrong information, then the answer will not be the desired outcome, right?
I think it's very important for us as humans to work alongside with AI and guide the process of decision making. So we can say it's our responsibility to say, even when we're creating the prompt, try to have a better outlook on the picture.
Okay.
Try to certain factors, don't take into account the gender, the race, nationality. You can create the safe guardrails, the safe rules to make sure there's less bias.
Okay, so let's focus in on that and see. So what are some things that we can do to as AI use, or we want to use AI, right? What are some things that we can do to make sure that we get an unbiased result, or we get you know, to a fair selection what do we do?
Let's have a look at a very simple case. So of course there's algorithms and training data. We don't have control over this. As a final user, I still can do something. So if I'm having a company and I want to make sure that employees of my company using AI responsibly, I will make sure that they're getting correct and enough education about this.
Okay.
So where the data is coming from, if it's coming from underrepresented groups, for example, I want to make sure that when they making the request to this data, they also set the certain rules and guardrails to avoid the bias in it.
Okay.
So proper education, making sure raising the awareness about potential risks and biases in the data and outcomes, and also writing proper prompts. Probably having some AI guidelines will help a lot in your company.
Right.
So making even some tools by developers who understand how AI works for the use of other people in the company can help a lot. So we saw a lot of explosion of different chatbots. So you can even go to ChatGPT and create your own chat, right?
Right, you can do that.
There's nothing stopping you from creating that one with the correct system prompt message that will make sure that there's less biased results, for example. So you put all those guardrails in there.
So you are careful to instruct the AI to adjust for a data set that isn't fair.
Yeah, we cannot avoid this because we cannot avoid any like predisposition or some bias, because we are people, we create an AI, and AI is training on the data provided by us.
That's right.
All the public data, so it will exist always. But we have to make sure that when AI making a decision, it's not because of certain factors.
So do you think that we now using AI have put a more focus on these questions than we have had historically? Because the bias in the data has been around since the age of the internet, right? It's been dominated by people that maybe look just like me, like white male, middle-aged person, right? Has a lot of emphasis in the data to say, right? Are we getting? Can AI maybe help us make this better in the future?
I think we can work alongside. So first we have to make sure that humans actually assist in AI and not like fighting against it. When you fight it, you fear it and you don't understand it.
Right.
If you assist it, you understand and you guide and you show the direction. That's the first thing. And the second thing, of course, the bias in the data exists for a long time. And as very good examples is healthcare. So we know a lot of examples of mistakes being made because of the data sets, even before ChatGPT and all this hype. But I think because of the explosion of AI, we have the problem became so big and so fast that we have to be much more like careful about it and put much more attention than before.
And in this space, then, I think I read something about that we're working to create standards and policies for this kind of work, right?
Now, 2 years after the app was launched, we got like in 2 months 100 million users.
Should have done it the other way around, but at least we are working on it now to say that there are things we have to consider when we're using AI. There are some policies we have to follow, right? Makes sense.
Kind of like first we do, then we see the consequences, and then we try to find a solution.
Right. So the summary of the advice that we need as a company. We're a company. We're going to start using AI. In summary, we have to look at our data, right? To figure out is this sane? What else? Data. Have guidelines for it. Yeah. And you talked about training.
You can. Well, the first is data and AI guidelines, and then you can have actually people creating tools that are being safe to use for people that are not that knowledgeable in AI, for example.
Okay.
Right? And also educating people of what the prompt is, how to use, and the risks that you have.
Right. And then there are training materials out there for learning, for an organization to learn how to use AI in a responsible and a more safe way.
I think trainings would be definitely a good thing. How to create non-biased prompt. That would be a great training.
Non-biased prompt. Yeah, that's a good training. Yeah.
Pretty quick one, but I think very, very useful and important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was excellent. So thank you very much for coming again back to the Cloud Show and being my second appearance on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
And guests, I'll see you next time on the Cloud Show.